Good evening, one and all, to MRC on a Wednesday night. It's 7 o'clock, which means we have our Tier 3 drivers racing again. This is a rescheduled race from a few rounds ago. This is their round 2 race at Saudi Arabia in Jeddah, at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. I'm BitW365, I'll be your lead commentator for this, and my co-commentator alongside me for this one is Neville or Chatty Duck. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yeah, excited to go back to Jeddah. Well, maybe not that excited to come back, but you know, it is a chaotic track. Certainly the opportunities for safety cars and collisions here are quite high, so we might see some interesting racing tonight.
Yeah, still a street circuit, but a complete different contrast to Monaco that we were racing last week.
Yeah, definitely a lot faster, much more about top speed this track. Something like 25 or 26 corners in total for this track, and I think 3 DRS zones, I believe, on the pit straight, and then 2 on the backside of the circuit, I think.
You are correct on that, and you were 1 corner short. It's 27.
Quite close, but yeah, it's certainly unlike Monaco. There is a lot of opportunities to overtake around here, especially with the double DRS zone that you get before and after the final corner. Lots of chances around there to set up a move when we get to the Grand Prix itself a bit later on.
Yeah, so Gav, first one across the line on a flying lap, so we're going to be on board with him for his first time run through turns 1 and 2, and then through 3, and then it's a short run to the twisty section of 4, 5, as he's backed off because he's invalidated. So we'll jump to another driver. We'll jump to Prix, who's just coming out of turn 2. We'll go on board with the Mercedes as he's coming up to the section where Gav invalidated. Fingers crossed he doesn't do the same thing. Nice and smooth. Keeps away from the curves. That got some super high curves here that can drag your car off track, as he's coming up to the second sector now through turn 13. Now this second half of the circuit runs alongside the Red Sea on the right hand side as he comes through towards the final sector.
DRS open right now.
Oh, he's gone super deep. Wide. Keeps it within limits, didn't get invalidated, but went super deep. Would have lost a lot of time. And now we've got the car long sweep in turn 25, which leads into 26. And then the final corner of 27. Clips the wall on the exit. Shrugs off a bit more time. David with a 39.8 for his banker. Prix with a 33.5 to take provisional pole as it stands. Gets completely out the way of the McLaren that was making his way through, which will be either Wookie or Chris. Most likely Wookie, because Chris can't qualify with being a tier 1 driver.
It was actually Chris, but I think he is just getting some practicing, because he's on the softs as well, and obviously he's not allowed to qualify on the softs.
Probably just getting a feel for the circuit, because it has been a while since we last raced here.
Yeah, and obviously as well, the fact that this race is out of sequence means that he won't have had tier 1 to sort of practice for this race.
No, so we'll see what Wookie can do as he comes through the final corner as Flattery 30.6 Connor P2 with a 31.1, and where's Wookie going to slot in? It's 31.7 to put him third provisionally. As we've got a Ferrari just in the back, a shot of Simba, which does a 31.8 to put P4 and go just behind Wookie.
On the mediums as well, so it looks like he's got a bit more pace in the tank when he needs it.
Yep. Just jumped to Gav. He's on his second attempt because he invalidated his first time round. So let's see what the Flying Scotsman can do. As he's flat to the floor, DRS open. Takes the shortest run and goes second with a 31.0, just shy of the 30s for Night Shadow.
Just watching Adamski in the Alpine. Had a bit of a struggle through the S section of Sector 1, but he's managed to keep the lap valid for the time being. Just in the second sector at the moment.
Ooh.
Really losing the back
Car
end.
wanted to go then, yeah. He's doing well to keep it out the walls, because as we know with most street tracks, if you make a mistake, there's only one place you're going to end up, and that's in a wall.
Yeah, and I'm just watching the way his car is moving about, and I get the impression that he's on a controller rather than a wheel, which on a street circuit is very difficult to control.
Yeah. Oh, he's got to be careful with what he's doing now. And I'm not sure if that was a reset to track that we just seen.
It looked like it was.
So Adamski may be in a spot of bother with that one. As we'll find Smith going round on inters. Obviously tier 2s and tier 1s can't set times. Well, tier 2s can, but it's must be the hard tyre. We'll see Stoob now coming through turn 13 as Simba's retired.
Yeah, he's crashed at the chicane that Stoob's just coming up to.
Yeah, that'll be, I think that's around 17 or 18. There's that many corners. Easily to lose count.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the kick Sauber of Stoob entering the third sector. One of the few drivers left in the championship who has a mathematical chance of winning it, even though Bobo is surely closing in on the tier 3 title. But for now, Stoob can still do it, and we'll see if he can set a good lap time.
30.7 P2.
Impressive stuff from Baby Hornet as well, going just a few tenths off pole with the hard tyres. Pretty good going.
Yep. Showing what tier 2 can do. Still a handful of drivers still yet to set a lap time. I know we've got majority of higher tier drivers, that most of them tier 2, just a handful of tier 1. Championship leader Bobo still sat in the garage.
Yeah, he doesn't have any penalties or anything. I think he's either just waiting till late on to set a time, or he's going to attempt some sort of challenge from the back of the grid.
Possibly. We have 2 qualifying bans being served tonight, and that's Hive, who's actually set a lap time. I've just noticed. So it was put out in the tier 3 channel. People that are serving penalties this week, and Hive was one of them who was serving a quali ban tonight. The other one is the Egyptian King, or Muhammad, as his name is on the left hand side of the screen. he's also on a quali ban, as we're currently following Connor as he makes his way round to start another flying lap to hopefully improve into the 1 minute 30. He's currently sat on a 31.164, just ahead of his teammate Simba, who's sadly no longer taking part with crashing earlier on, as Connor DRS Open will start his flying lap in the Ferrari. Ferrari currently sat P6 in the Constructors on 58 points, a whopping 108 points behind the championship leaders of Williams, who are on 167. So Williams on the cusp of taking the Constructors as well, but Sauber still mathematically close to stay in contention, as Connor currently 2/10 up on his fastest time. So looking positive for Connor at the moment. Oh, but he invalidates. And it was looking good.
Well, the man who is primarily responsible for Williams' Constructors lead is of course Bobo, and he's just started his first lap of the session. He went very wide actually in the final corner. Looked like he was going to hit the wall, but he just managed to avoid it and start the lap. And so far, as we come up to the first sector line, it looks pretty good for the championship leader.
Yep. Predominantly been getting most of the points for Williams this season, but his teammate, who's not racing tonight, has got a few points for him as well. But if you've been following the Tier 3 championship, as David's retired now, and Airways as well.
Huge crash.
Ooh. I'm surprised that didn't catch Bobo out through there.
Well, it very nearly did, and it didn't look like David's car ghosted either.
See what that does for Bobo as he comes down to... Actually, he's bailed out his lap, so it did put him off. Must have clipped the wall on the way through with all the carbon fibre going everywhere. He's still got 5 minutes left in this session, so he's still got plenty of time to get a lap in. As we
Night Shadow starting another lap.
Yeah, I just jumped to Adamski, who's just invalidated. So we'll jump to Gav in the second of the kick Saubers. Currently P5. On a 31.055, and
looks like he might have backed out.
It does look that way. You're going relatively slowly. Yeah, his light's flashing on the back as well, so Gav looks to be bailed out on his lap. Not happy with what went off. Hive on another go.
And he was 4/10 up on his first sector, so even though he's got a qualifying ban, his lap time is looking like it might challenge for the front of the grid.
Yeah, which is currently held by Flaherty on the top, currently on a 30.6. Let's see what Hive can do in the Mercedes as he comes down to the start-finish line to end this flying lap. And he goes a 30.096 to take provisional pole position.
Yeah, that looked really good. And he was 9/10 up on his previous best as he came through the second sector, so no surprise to see him sticking it on pole.
Bobo's appeared in the YouTube chat. He says you're not qualifying this and upcoming race will start last and make it more exciting for myself and the others after the big gaps in standing. So your hunch was correct. He's doing a last to first challenge just to make it more entertaining for him. Give him a challenge.
Yeah, well, it shows just how comfortable he is with the championship position, and you know, Stube really needs to be winning races to do anything about it. But I mean, we'll see what happens. I wouldn't bet against Bobo winning even from the back, to be honest. He's been so dominant.
Well, it's a lot safer track to try winning from the back here, unlike Monaco last week. Plenty of overtaking chances here, more flowing as well. Yes, the barriers are close, but it's not as narrow as Monaco is. It's a lot wider. As we're going to see what Gav sets lap time wise as he comes around the final corner. Gets super close on the wall on exit. Doesn't hit the wall though. Comes to the line and goes just ahead of Stube with a 30.623 to go on that second row in third place.
Yeah, the two Kicksab boys at the moment lining up next to each other, which is useful to have your teammate alongside you.
Yeah, we'll follow Stube as he's coming to the end of his outlap. He's going to look to... he's had a bit of a collision with a Red Bull that was... looked to be a little bit oblivious to what was happening, but at least he's on an outlap, not a flying lap, so he's gone now. Ferrari stays out of the way. That's Connor, the only remaining Ferrari left. So Stube on his last attempt. Everyone on the last attempt with just under 30 seconds left. So everyone on their last do or die laps. But we'll focus with Stube at the moment. As there's the Mercedes just ahead. As he gets out of the way, Stube has been given a purple sector through there. We'll see what it does towards the end. Only needs to find less than a tenth to get ahead of his teammate, but needs at least over half a second to get to Hive's current pole position time. Needs at least 8 tenths to jump ahead of that.
Flaherty's on a lap as well, just behind him.
Yeah, so
by about a tenth at the moment.
Bit too far back to get a tow from Stube, but we'll see what Stube does with the Red Bull just behind as well. Stube comes to the line and goes pole with a 29.8.
And Flaherty just behind him.
With a 30.6064. So as it stands, Stube is on pole position. Triz is invalidated, so he's bailed on his lap. Got Wookie coming to the line. See if he can improve from P9. And he does to P7 with a 30.9.
Oh, and Baby Hornets crashed out of the final corner.
Yeah, I can just see that on the minimap. So Stube, on his very last lap, takes pole position in Saudi, which is a big, big deal, with his main rival and championship leader deciding to do a last to first. So he's got to try and take full advantage of the situation.
And he's in the perfect spot to do that. He might have wished his teammate Night Shadow could have joined him up at the front, but still a good starting position for him as well in P4.
Yeah, so we'll run down the starting order. Stube on pole, Flattery On that front row in second, then it's Hive, Night Shadow, Baby Hornet, Wookie, Airways, Connor, Triz, Simba rounds out the top 10, and then the second half of the grid, Sambal, David, Smith, Adamski, Error Voice, Mohammed, Chris Bailey, Gabby, Lorpy, and championship leader Bobo starting at the back. And now we head into that 5-minute break between qualifying and race to allow drivers to take a toilet break or grab a drink, and also gives them time to ponder what strategy to go for. My guess is possibly a medium hard, which I think is what the strategy most of us ran all those weeks ago when we last raced here at the start of the season.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was. I'm pretty sure it was medium hard, but I'm pretty sure as well that most of the tiers here had at least a safety car or two, which sort of spice things up in the tyre strategy department. So might see the same sort of thing with tier 3.
Yeah, Saudi not shy from safety cars with the high speed nature of the track and how close you get to the walls at times.
Yeah, absolutely, and it might be a bit more interesting with Bobo coming from the back as well, because he's obviously, I mean, he's usually quite patient actually, but if he wants to try and win the race from back there, he is going to have to be quite aggressive with the overtaking.
Yeah, and we saw firsthand when Formula One first came to Saudi back in 2021, which was on the 5th of December, very late in the season compared to what it is now, which is the second race of the season. But Max Verstappen that year almost set the perfect lap. He was getting very, very close to the walls and really pushing the limits, but sadly clipped the wall out the final corner on his last run. So we know how much you can push around here.
Yeah, and the other thing about that first race is that until Silverstone this year, it was Lewis Hamilton's last race victory in Formula One.
Yeah, after a bit of controversy when Max brake checked Lewis. Obviously, we know how heated that rivalry got that season in that particular championship fight. And as well, Saudi not shy from big shunts, because Mick Schumacher had a big one back in 2022, crashing heavily at turn 10 in qualifying. So if you're going to crash out in Saudi, do it in style, is all I can say.
Well, we saw a few drivers in qualifying having incidents and losing wheels. We saw David and Baby Hornet both having big shunts. So if that's anything to go by, it's going to be more of the same probably in the race. Few retirements potentially, and some yellow flags along the way as well.
Yeah, soon we'll be looking to go out on the formation lap. Race distance tonight will be 154.225 miles. The track length of 3.836 miles. And as we said during qualifying, 27 corners, 11 to the left and 16 to the right. Lap record of the Jeddah Corniche circuit, 130.736, which was set by Lewis Hamilton in the first first time they raced here back in 2021. Most successful driver, Max here with 2 wins. Obviously Lewis getting the first one, and I think it was Sergio Perez getting one in 2023. And obviously Red Bull with 3 wins to their name here.
And that win was early enough in 2023 for people to think that Sergio Perez was a championship contender, but obviously we all know what happened after that.
Yeah, it all changed after Miami, because that year after Miami, apart from Singapore, Max practically grabbed that title by the scruff of its neck.
Along with pretty much every race.
Pretty much. I mean, we did think it was going to be the same old scenario this year with how the championship started, but how far wrong were we?
Yeah, and I don't think anyone could have really seen it that coming after the first few rounds, but it really has developed into a 4-way fight, really, for wins at times, with the Red Bull, the McLaren, the Ferrari and the Mercedes all winning multiple Grand Prix this season. So it's been exactly what Formula One needed to spice things up again at the front of the pack.
Yeah. We've had quite a few, couple different winners up and down MRC as well. But with Tier 3, it's mainly been the Bobo show most of the season.
And just a quick update from Discord: the lights out time was pushed back a couple of minutes, which is why we're not watching the formation lap yet. So it'll be 7:30, which I believe it has just ticked over to. So we should soon see the drivers starting their formation laps.
Lovely view of the pit lane that we've had for the past few minutes.
A very quiet looking pit lane at the moment.
Yeah. There we go. As we jump to a shot of the grid as they're making their way on formation, Stu leads them off. We'll have a quick look at what tyres everyone's starting's on. Most people going for the medium tyres, a handful of drivers taking the hards, and then there's the 2 drivers towards the back of Mohammed and Chris starting on softs. So a wide selection of tyres and every single compound being used, and it looks like Adamski and Error Voice has had a moment on the formation lap of being set back to the grid, so they're going to be sat there bored out their minds while everybody else is going round getting tyre temps in their tyres.
Yeah, that's the big loss, really, that you just sit there on the grid with cold tyres waiting for everyone else to come around. That will be a big disadvantage at the start, and they're both on hards, which makes it even more important to generate some heat on the formation lap. So they'll be regretting their error.
Yeah, just had the graphic down in the bottom of the screen while actually we're talking, with the 2 different tyre strategies. Obviously the more preferred one is the medium hard. As Stube has not hung about on the formation lap.
Yeah, we've got quite a big gap between Connor and Triz in the Mercedes, which I know in real Formula One you're not allowed to leave that big of a gap during the formation lap. So
yeah, you got to. It's the same as the safety car rule. You've got to be within 10 car lengths of the car in front.
and I think actually that Simba has overtaken Triz along with a couple of other drivers. So I don't know quite what's going on with the Mercedes there, but he's on the grid now.
Yeah, just waiting for the last few cars to take their positions. And obviously, championship leader Bobo will be the last one to park up on the grid in the Williams. As we now wait for the 5 red lights to get the Tier 3 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix underway. As we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights, and we're underway in Saudi for Tier 3. Wheel spins galore as everyone gets away. Stube looking to hold position as it looks like Flattery trying. Oh, we've got McLaren round at turn 1, which is Wookie. Everyone else getting away relatively cleanly, but Stube holds the lead ahead of the Red Bull and his teammate Night Shadow up to 3rd. Getting past Baby Hornet, who's on the hard tyres at the moment. Getting a bit close further down the pack there.
Yeah, Bobo's had to take things very cautiously through the first few turns. There's been quite a bit of chaos going on. Quite a few cars going off track and running wide. There's Gabby just in ahead, has gone a bit wide, but Bobo so far up to 16th.
Yeah, just been watching Airways and Triz going side by side through a few sections of corners. Got the 2 Ferraris close together, both on the same tyre strategy, both on the mediums. As we see the McLaren of Chris and the Red Bull of Sambal making a few positions. Chris moving to the inside of the final corner to take the position, obviously using full advantage of the soft tyre, as Stube leads after lap 1, but it's relatively close between. Oh, as Night Shadow looking to make a position, but the inside soon becomes the outside, but he's still close to the Red Bull but has to back out. Seems to be a lot more confident with the grip. Oh, as he gets a bit on the curb. Lost a bit of time to the Red Bull, and now he's going to be under a bit of pressure from the V-Carver Baby Hornet just behind. And Airways in the Aston Martin not too far behind us. And that was a Haas getting a bit out of shape as well. But it's currently a kick Sauber 1-2.
Which is perfect for Stube.
Yeah,
his teammate behind him.
Yeah, I think Flattery had a moment because he's down in P5 now after being second, and I'm trying to see if there's any damage on that Red Bull, and there is. He's missing an end plate on the left hand side, which is going to make turning a little bit awkward. As we see Simba making moves behind us, we've got 3 wide just behind, which is mainly because David were pitting. But we have McLaren. Oh, Triz braking super late, ended up hitting the Ferrari of Simba. Simba was able to carry on, but Triz, with the wrong end of the stick of that one, has tumbled all the way down to 18th and has got wing damage to go with it. Missed his braking point and clattered into the Ferrari.
And now he's got a full lap of the track pretty much to do with that wing damage, so that's really going to hurt him.
Yeah, error voice on the hard tyres. close to the back of Chris, both of these higher tier drivers. And as we know with the ruling for high tier drivers, an extra pit stop on the penultimate lap. As we see,
Bobo's been making his way up. He's in 11th place now, helped out a bit by some of the incidents that you've been seeing.
Yeah, he's keeping himself out the way and his nose clean. He's 1.9, but yeah, just 2 seconds behind Gabby, but Gabby getting the luxury of DRS off of Connor as they are behind that DRS train, which starts from Baby Hornet in front and goes all the way down to Gabby in P10. So the two Saubers, actually it starts with the Night Shadow actually, so as Triz has retired in the pits after coming together with Simba, as Gabby going super wide and doing a bit of drifting off circuit. Shame we're in Saudi and not Japan.
We've got David in the pits as well for a wing change.
Yeah, and we've got our first penalties coming through. Mohammed with 3 seconds and Adamski as well, also with penalties, so not being able to stay within track limits. But we know how strict track limits are on this game compared to the last one, as it's all happening with looks like Airways looking to go around the outside of the Red Bull of Flattery. As Chris went to the inside, getting a bit out of shape on exit. Now all of this is actually helping Stube, and as you say, he's got the luxury of having his teammate in the best position.
Yeah, it's allowed Stube to just pull away at the front. That got 2.4 seconds, and it's a bit of a DRS train behind him. Oh, and we've got Connor has crashed. He's out of the race, and he has hit Bobo in the process, who's had a spin.
And that's brought to say, and Bobo's got 10-second penalty for the collision with Connor somehow.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for him. There was nothing he could have done there.
No, but he'll probably be looking at pitting on this lap and putting a set of hards on. He's also missing an end plate as well, so that is definitely going to be him going into the pit. So he's going to have that's going to be a long pit stop then. He's going to have a 10-second wait, then he's also going to have a front wing change as well as going onto a set of hard tyres. So that is going to be a hefty pit stop that he's going to have to serve. Thankfully though, it's going to be under safety car, but it's still going to be a hefty pit stop that he's going to have.
Yeah, it's going to put him to the back of the pack again, having started in last place, but yeah, at least he will be able to get rid of that.
Stube deciding to take advantage of the safety car, and he's coming in. He'll be jumping onto the hard tyres. Baby Hornet carries on as he started on that compound, and Simba follows through as well, and so does Error Voice. But a double stack by Sauber as well, so Gav's going to lose out a little bit with double stacking behind his teammate.
And Bobo's in his box now, serving his penalty before he can have his pit stop.
10 seconds feels like an absolute millennium.
Yeah.
Thought 5 seconds were bad, but 10 seconds. Oof.
Yeah, and then the actual pit stop was not much quicker with the wing change. But he's in P15. He's still got the two Haas boys and Adamski behind him because they all pitted. Well, actually, David didn't, but he was far enough behind that Bobo stayed ahead.
Yeah, at least it gives everyone a chance to reset now. Everybody, apart from the front three and David towards the back, decided to not to pit. No surprise, Baby Hornet decided to stay out with being on the hard tyres. So at this moment in time, our Tier 3 leader is Simba, but race leader as it stands at the moment, Baby Hornet. But being a Tier 2 driver, he's not going to want to affect Tier 3 drivers too much, I wouldn't think, but he'll be wanting to race just as hard as everybody else.
One thing we've seen is that the Kick Sauber drivers, because they had to double stack, it's caused Night Shadow to fall back 5 places from his teammate with the drivers in front who didn't pit. So they've lost that sort of, well, Stu has lost that cushion of having his teammate behind him. He's going to have to make it work for himself out on his own.
Yeah, and judging from his start, I'm not going to put it past Night Shadow getting back up there to support his teammate Stoob, so he's going to be looking to make moves to get back up to aid his partner in crime.
Yeah, and I'll just say that it was, give a shout out to these Tier 3 drivers actually, because I've seen races at Jeddah in the past where you would have had 2 or 3 safety cars by now, so to have got to lap 5 I think it was before a major incident was actually pretty good going.
Yeah, we've had a few races in the past at Saudi that have turned into complete and utter carnage in the opening laps, which 9 times out of 10 tends to happen with either somebody just making an error, lapsing concentration, or somebody just being a little bit over aggressive and impatient. But
yeah, and what I saw from looking at the back was that everyone was being fairly cautious and respectful in those opening exchanges. So yeah, just
it looked rather
play, really.
Yeah, it looked rather bunched up in the middle part of the grid, because obviously, like you say, everyone taking it cautiously on the opening lap, especially with everyone being so close as the lights on the safety car are out. So Baby Hornet will take the pace for the restart, brings everybody down to a slower pace, and he's going to be taking it a lot cautiously with being on the hard tyres to allow those with the quicker tyres to lesser chance of getting temperature into them, but also he's going to be looking to make sure he gets plenty of temperature in those hards.
I think we've had a coming together between the two Haas boys at the back. I think David might have some wing damage, but hard to tell.
As Baby Hornet gets his foot down, and there's quite a bit of a gap to Simba behind. Simba taking it a bit more cautiously on the restart, but Baby Hornet gets us racing again. Little lock up into turn 1. Simba coming under a little bit of pressure from the Williams of Error voice, with Stoob in close proximity. Obviously Stoob on the brand new hard tyres is going to be one to watch at this moment in time to see what he can do. But obviously with everyone bunched up, you don't want to be taking too much risks. You want to be making sure you don't crash your car or just lapse in concentration. As Night Shadow's already making moves. P7 for the Flying Scotsman in the Swiss outfit. And Chris, or yeah, yep. And now Chris right up the back of Gav now. There's looks like too wide in the back of shot. Aston Martin and a V car, which is Gabby making positions as well. As he's side by side with Sambal at the final corner, and now gets ahead of the Red Bull. But the Red Bull switching to other sides, and here comes the Aston Martin as well, almost making it 3 wide towards turn 1. Airways gets ahead of the Red Bull. Mohammed with 6 seconds now. As we have a yellow flag at sector 2, some coming together there. Smith finds himself down in 18th now. Also, Gav getting out of shapes and having to go off track to avoid any incidents or losing the car, but he's close to the Mercedes of Hive, who's 2 seconds adrift from Lorpy up the road. As we'll just have a quick jump to Stu to see his progress, and he's happy to sit behind Error Voice. He knows Simba's got to pit, whereas he hasn't, so he can play the long game and sit behind. And he's got the luxury of Error Voice, who's in front of him, just going past Simba, being a higher tier driver. As Stube also having a little look on Simba.
Oh, big crash.
Sambal's gone. That's
he was taken out by his teammate by the looks of things there, coming through the high speed final sector.
As we have another safety car which has been brought out by that, so must be a miscommunication by the Red Bull drivers, probably looked at afterwards, but not what you want to see with teammates coming together. But with the situation we're in now, both Saubers are back together in 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, that's good. Good for Stube to have that protection once again. Bobo, though,
yes, P8.
Yeah, made his way to 8th.
Keeping himself out of trouble. And he finds himself in P8. Yes, he got a bit unfortunate with what happened with Connor. And having that 10 seconds, that hefty pit stop. But he finds himself up in P8 now, with another safety car restart to come.
Yeah, and just 3 drivers now who haven't pitted yet, in Baby Hornet, Era Voice and Smith down in P13. They're sticking with their hard tyres for a bit longer.
Well, I still think it's a bit early to go for mediums at the moment, so it's safer for them to stay out at the moment.
Yeah, it's the risk you take when you start on the hard tyres, because you're sort of gambling on there not being a safety car early on.
Whereas the soft or the mediums, it's worth the safety, the early stop, especially if you're starting on the soft. You're practically banking on an early safety car with the soft tyres.
Yeah, definitely.
Baby Hornet weaving about, trying to keep temperature in those hard tyres.
The other thing with the hards, I remember from when we raced here earlier in the season that the tyre wear on the hard tyres was virtually non-existent. You could do 10 to 15 laps on them and have about 5% of wear, so there's absolutely no question of them running out of grip in this race. So if they wanted to, the likes of Baby Hornet and Era Boys could do 24 laps on them and then just pit for the softs on the last lap.
Yeah, just wait until they have to make their extra stop on lap 24. Because as you say, the hards last a lifetime round here, and it never feels like they're going to drop off.
No, with as you burn off the fuel, obviously you're actually going to end up just getting quicker and quicker as the race goes on. Whereas what usually happens with the hards is they do wear to an extent, and you just kind of you're able to hold a similar pace as the fuel burns off. But that's not the case at Jeddah because there's just so little wear.
There was another track like it that we've recently done that I can't remember, that the hard tyres seem to just go and go and go and go. I can't remember which one it was. As the lights are out on the safety car, so Bert Marlander will be heading off for another cup of tea, and Baby Hornet will be taking the restart again. Will he go the same place as he did last time, or will he decide to mix it up?
Yeah, well, the safety car is in the pit lane now, so he can pretty much go when he likes. Looks like he has gone.
He has gone. He's gone a lot earlier than last time. Gets a bit out of shape out the final corner, which is allowed. Oh, we've got an Aston Martin losing the car on the exit of the final corner, which is Airways, and has lost the front wing. As Error Voice close to the back of Baby Hornet on the restart, and the two Saubers in close proximity of each other. Hopefully they play fair. I mean, yes, it's always a virtual safety car.
Not sure why that is, because it's only Airways in the pits. I can't see that anyone else is going slowly. Looks like everyone else is okay.
Hopefully the virtual doesn't remain out too long. But Stube in a prime position at the moment, third place with two higher tier drivers and his teammate behind, and obviously Bobo down in P7 at the moment with two higher tier drivers ahead of him. Two tier 1 drivers in Gabby and Chris ahead of him at the moment.
Just thinking last week, well, we're back to green, but last week at Monaco we saw a high tier driver just stick the hards on and go pretty much to the end of the race before pitting on the last lap. I can't remember who it was now, but I
think it was, I may be wrong, but I've got a funny inkling it was Error Voice. He went all the way and pitted on the last lap in Monaco, well, penultimate lap at Monaco. Did 38 laps on those hards that last week, if my maths would be correct, because it was 39 laps at Monaco.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at how Bobo's getting on. He's happily sat behind the likes of Chris and Gabby, who are going to obviously be racing each other just ahead, as we have a yellow flag, which I think was for Adamski. So people tripping up further back of each other. Simba.
Yeah, So just to say that
yeah.
for Bobo, he's basically on the podium at this point with all the reserves in front.
Yeah, Baby Hornet, Error Voice, Chris and Gabby. So yeah, as you say, he will be on that podium in third behind the 2 Kick Saubers. He's not too far off of Gabby in the V-Carb. Although Chris is right up behind the Sauber of Night Shadow. Night Shadow knows he doesn't have to fight him with him being a higher tier driver, but sometimes we want to try and have a little race with the higher tier drivers when we can. As Chris fastest lap, 31.9. Stu finds himself on almost on the diffuser of the Williams of Error Voice just in front, but him likewise doesn't have to worry about Error Voice too much with being a higher tier driver. He's also slightly over track limits, bouncing over the curb and getting 3 seconds for it.
Just seen Wookie make contact with the wall, and I think he's lost one of his end plates, so he might have to make a pit stop.
Yeah, he's lost an end plate on the right hand side, and he's also lost position to Lorpe in the process as well, because he was behind. Was he? I think he was in.
He was ahead of Simba.
He was ahead of Simba, so he's lost 2 places after having a little collision with the wall. As we have a DRS train from Error Voice to Bobo. A nice Williams sandwich at this moment in time. As Stu's made the move for second. Yes, he has. He's got past Error Voice, and I think Gav is going to follow him through as well. Chris having a look as well. It's getting real tight between the lot. Oh, as an end plate goes flying. I think Bobo trying to thread the needle as well, but sensibly backs out. Getting a bit close quarters just then amongst most of the top lead front drivers. Getting my words muddled there. But with all that, Stube now finds himself second, Chris third, and Night Shadow fourth. Bobo behind his teammate for the night, Error Voice. Now I wonder what Error Voice is going to do. Is he going to let Bobo go? He will have DRS, but I think he is letting it. Yes, he has let his Bobo go, and he'll slot back in behind Bobo and try and keep Gabby behind in a safe manner, which he does. So Bobo's been released, and now he's off to attack Night Shadow. He's got a 1.3 second gap to the Sauber just in front.
Chris has got ahead of Stube and is now looking to make a move on Baby Hornet for the lead of the race, and he pulls alongside.
Yeah,
and Stube's going to
there.
have a go as well.
Yep, the slipstream and the DRS. Baby Hornet losing 2 places with being at the front of that and having no DRS to help him anyway. So now Chris leads in the McLaren with Stu in the Sauber second and Baby Hornet down to third in the V-Carb, with Night Shadow just behind and Bobo just behind him in the Williams.
That's worked out quite well in the end for Stu, because Chris is looking quicker at the moment, so he doesn't have to worry about him. He'll just drive off, and now he hasn't got any more reserves directly in front to overtake. He can just focus on his pace and on hopefully from here taking a victory, with Bobo down in 5th place at the moment. behind his teammate, behind Stoop's teammate. I mean.
Yeah, Night Shadow, and he's still within DRS, but Gav will also be getting DRS off of Baby Hornet, who will still be getting DRS off of Stoob as well. So, but I don't think Stoob's going to have to worry about Baby Hornet too much, because Baby Hornet will be on 16 lap old hard tyres, because he's still yet to pit on those. As Bobo's made a move past Gav, but Gav's got it back, and also, as it looks like Adamski's retired. Yep, and we've got another safety car.
Just
No, a virtual, sorry, yeah. Actually, no, I see a yellow dot on circuit, so I think we have got a full safety car, not a virtual.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
It says virtual in the top left, but I see a yellow dot on track, so we have a full safety car. Yet it says virtual.
Yeah, I just see it on board with Mohammed. Yeah, the safety car is out there.
Now, those on the hard tyres wouldn't be a bad idea to stay out, but some of them may be tempted to come in and put a fresh set of mediums on, because they'd have 2 sets at use if they haven't used them in qualifying. So we'll see what everyone decides to do. As Evervoice has retired. He's gone at...
crashed on track.
That looks to be turn 16. As Bailey's gone in, Stoob's carried on. So Stoob takes the lead, with Night Shadow second and Bobo third. So Baby Hornet's carried on as well. So Chris, Gabby, Wookie look to be the only ones to pit under the safety car at this point. But I'm guessing there's been a few people further back taking advantage of it as well, because I think half the grid was still behind. I've seen error voice in the YouTube. I'm so stupid. I got a message on my phone and got distracted, missed the corner because of that.
Don't text and drive, kids. Especially not in a Formula 1 car.
Even if it is in a game.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got Chris, Gabby, Wookie, Smith all on, well, very fresh softs, David and Airways as well. And I think they can get to the end on those. They won't be the best by the end, but they will be drivable still.
Yeah, we're going to have a few laps under the safety car as well, because we've got Smith in the Aston Martin, who's still going through the first section of corners. He's almost about halfway behind the safety car at the moment on the track map. He'll be going at racing rules. Baby Hornet's disconnected. Hopefully he can get back in before the restart.
That happened to him in quali as well, I think.
Yeah, he's back in again.
Fairly quickly.
Error Voice follows up in YouTube. I was having so much fun this race, really clean driving, and that is one thing we have seen tonight. It's been very clean. A few moments here and there, but it has been clean.
Yeah, and all credit to the drivers out there for that. certainly compared to last week, which we won't speak about, but
yeah.
certainly the standard of driving has been a lot better.
Yeah, like Errorboy says in the YouTube chat, Tier 3 making progress, and I have to agree with that. Tier 3 is making
absolutely
big strides in making themselves a cleaner tier to race. I'm still waiting for Smith to catch the queue behind the safety car. Lap 29 of 25. We got a kick Sauber 1-2. Stube leading his teammate Night Shadow, with championship leader Bobo in the Williams third. Baby Hornet finds himself fourth. Flaherty P5 in the Red Bull. Law P6 in the Alpine. Simba 7th in the Ferrari. Then it's Chris in the McLaren in 8th after pitting. Hive P9 in the Mercedes. Mohammed P10 in the Haas. Gabby P11 in the V car. Wookie in the second McLaren in 12th. David in 13th in the Haas. And then it's the two Aston Martins rounding off the last of the 50 runners in 14th and 15th. As safety car will be coming in, so Stu takes control of the pack, and he will be getting us green flag racing on to lap 20. So coming into the closing stages of this race,
and this is crunch time for the Kick Sauber boys, because they've got the main man
as Stu's gone,
right,
and Gav's played a bit of a game. He's allowed Stu to get a bit of a gap, so Gav playing the team game to perfection, and he's weaving about to try and get a heat in the tyres, as well as keep Bobo behind. Obviously you can't make more than one move when defending, but I'm guessing it was more or less he was trying to get heat in the tyres. But he's really backed everybody up and has allowed Stube to really open that gap. So Gav played the almighty team game. He's really backing him up. Stube's almost just over 3.5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, he's doing a Sergio Perez from Abu Dhabi 2021 here.
Yeah, he's really he's really backing him up.
And it's making things very congested.
Yeah, oh, he's got 3 seconds.
Behind.
Oh, contact!
Oh, no!
And that was the only problem. It was getting very congested, as you were saying. It's still relatively congested, but everyone trying to get through as cleanly as they can. I don't know if that'll be looked at in stewards, I don't know. As all Gav gets a big slap from the back of the car coming out the final corner and hits the wall hard. Luckily he's still going. But with all the calamities behind, Stu finds himself just over 4.5 seconds up the road.
Yeah, and Bobo now back in P6, and he's got a few reserves, but also Flatty now in front of him, so effectively in P3 once again, and he's still got Night Shadow in his DRS as well.
Yeah, Chris gets 3 seconds for track limits while he's battling away with Baby Hornet. But that gap coming down to Stu, with Chris being in second now, but Chris obviously not a threat at all to worry for Stu. As I think Gabby's made a mistake, because he's just tumbled down the order a few places, down to P12. but we're currently watching the Red Bull of Flattery as he closes in on Baby Hornet with the RS and swoops around the outside of the V-carb to take third place. Finds himself mathematically in second with the higher tier drivers, but Baby Hornet, that's the one thing, you overtake somebody in the DRS zone as he's getting swamped as well.
Oh, Bobo and Baby Hornet. Whoa, that was close. That's contact into turn one.
Yeah, that's the only problem with making the overtake before the final corner. You're just a sitting duck in the final DRS zone as the Red Bull was swamped by the Alpine, Williams and the V-carb, and obviously slight contact into turn one with all three of those as they were trying to make the way past the Red Bull. With that gap in front down to 2 seconds, so Chris is on an absolute rampage right now on those soft tyres, but no threat to Stube. I'm sure Chris is just having a bit of fun and games, saying, right, I'm going to chase him down, close that gap.
Well, I'm sure Stube's just going to let him by once he gets there.
It'll be the
cost yourself any time.
Yeah, it'll be the sensible thing to just let Chris go, as we see Lorpy going round the outside of Baby Hornet in the DRS, but then that'll leave him vulnerable going down towards turn one, as we saw with the Red Bull a lap before, because the DRS and the slipstream is mighty here, as we've got 3 wide, as Bobo really on the inside has got the pair of them and now finds himself in third place. Was way over to the inside, made sure he made the corner, and now finds himself third and second with the higher tier drivers around him.
Yeah, and 6.5 seconds pretty much back from Stube, the race leader, so I can't see anything going wrong for Stube at this point unless he has a problem himself. But yeah, because Chris is now right on the back of the Kicks Albert.
Yeah, and as you say, I don't think Stube will fight it. He'll just let Chris go. Although he is putting up a bit of a fight with Chris, but that's probably because of going through the twisty section of the track. Chris, DRS wide open, will look to swoop around the outside, but Stube putting up a bit of defence still, but Chris eventually goes around the outside. Stube will have DRS on the McLaren now, sits comfortably behind the McLaren to get the toe. DRS open, Chris goes defensive to the inside, but actually lets Stube go as well. So obviously Chris wants to have a race with Stube, but also not cause any incidents.
I don't think this is what Stube wants, really. I think he would rather Chris just got through and pulled away from him rather than staying behind him. He doesn't need that kind of pressure at this point, even though it is a reserve.
Yeah, but the problem is you overtake somebody in the second DRS zone, you then easy prey in the final DRS zone, which is what we saw. And obviously Chris doing the sensible thing and not defending too hard and just letting Stu back through.
Yeah, and Chris is obviously going to have to pit at the end of this lap.
Yeah, Stu has allowed him back through again. Gap's come down a little bit to these two, 4.4 to Bobo, who I would say is pretty much dialed in for that second place. As Chris has allowed Stu back through again because he's seen him coming through with DRS. And as you say, Chris will dive into the pits on lap 24 to make the extra pit stop with being a higher tier driver, which releases Bobo.
Interestingly, Lorpe has not pitted, so he's going to have to slow down on this lap and let the drivers behind through. Or, well, if he finishes from here, he'll just the order will just get changed after the race, I'd imagine.
I think the ruling is if a higher tier driver doesn't make the extra stop at the end, they tend to disqualify them. But my guess is that Lorpe will probably pit on the very last lap, but I don't know how that would fit in with the rules. As Gabby's gone. That is at turn... in between turns, that's at turn 2. Just trying to get me numbers right. As we will jump to Stube as he makes his way towards the checkered flag. Now Hive is tired as well. But Stube comes to the line, takes the checkered flag and the win in Saudi Arabia, and Bobo will come second. So that means the gap in the championship will come down just a little bit. Not by much, but just a little. Stube did what he needed to do. Bobo did a phenomenal job to finish second, especially from starting from the back. So hopefully he had some fun in doing that. But I do.
He might be a bit. I think he might be a bit upset with Night Shadow for some of that defending he was doing when the last safety car came in. Wonder what if there'll be any stewarding to come from that.
Time will tell, because we'll run through the provisional results. This is before we have any steward decisions. Bobo driver of the day. I'm not going to argue with that one.
No, me neither.
Stu takes the top spot in Saudi Arabia in Tier 3. Started on pole and takes the checkered flag first. But I do think he has to give a slight thanking to his teammate, because Gav played the ultimate team game on that last safety car. But unfortunately we had a slight coming together, so we'll run through the order before any stewarding is involved. Stu takes the win, Bobo second, Flaherty third, Simba fourth, Wookie fifth, Night Shadow sixth, Chris seventh, Mohammed eighth, Baby Hornet ninth, Airways 10th, Lorpe 11th, David 12th, Smith 13th, Hive 14th in classified, Gabby 15th classified, and then Error Voice, Adamski, Sambal, Connor and Triz, the non-finishers. And I think we already concluded on the driver of the day, because we both agreed on the game.
Yeah, I'm just seeing in Discord, Bobo is not particularly pleased with Night Shadow's driving on that lap, but I think he's potentially going to let it go. But yeah, bit of controversy in Tier 3. You'll love to see it.
Yeah, flashbacks to Saudi Arabia 2021 with a bit of controversy with that one. But that wraps up Tier 3 Saudi Arabia escapade. We still have one more tonight to come, which will be the No Assist Extreme, which will be getting underway at 8:45. And your commentators for that one will be the captain of the MRC captain and the master of rum, Mark Hodgson, and his partner in crime will be Tier 3's very own Connor. So they'll be taking you for Extreme. And any last words before we end, Neville?
No, just to echo what we said before. Good stuff from Tier 3 tonight. A real improvement from recent weeks, and congratulations to Stube for the win and to Bobo for driver of the day.
Yeah, so Tier 3 will be back next week in Canada at 7 o'clock on Wednesday at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. So that is it from me and Neville. Extreme will be coming up in a little while. Good night.